On today's episode of Propeller Group's Brew with a View, we are joined by Dino Myers-Lamptey, founder of TBS, the strategically led media, creative and tech company. Thanks for joining us, Dino.
Thank you very much for having me.
What are you having to drink?
I think I'm going to do a cup of tea, and I think my tea bag of choice today is going to be Yorkshire tea. I've got a little bit of history of Yorkshire tea, so it reminds me of the time that I pitched for the business and didn't win it, but it was a fantastic pitch, so, oh well. I still love the brand.
What do you read when you're having your morning cuppa?
I tend to do what I think a lot of people do right now in terms of start on the mobile. I go through things like Apple News and just check the big headlines. My Guardian app gets used quite a lot, and then if I can, I'll probably open up something like The Week and go through the articles and the big news stories in a bit more in depth from the weeks before. More recently, I've been a big fan of The Athletic as well, which is also one of the brands that I've been working with much more closely recently, but I'm also a massive fan of the actual content they publish as well, and the in-depth sports coverage they have as well.
What individual or company do you think is currently stirring things up for the right reasons, and who is in hot water?
Let's start with the one that's probably in hot water. I think that WeWork is definitely up there as a brand in hot water. I think it's a classic example of a great Silicon Valley tech success story, but the success has been built on a lot of branding, a lot of hype. But the experience is it's good and it's moved things on. However, the model is not really sustainable. But I think that it's more in hot water because of the practices of the people that run the company, more than the business concept itself and its rapid expansion. And unfortunately, we've heard that before with brands like Uber as well, having that problem, and whether they can get out of that cloud remains to be seen, basically. In terms of brands that are
stirring things up
in a positive way. Well, Extinction Rebellion, I think you could probably say, is a brand that's stirring things up in an incredibly positive way. I guess certainly in terms of the message about the environment and then getting noticed for it, getting people on a global level to take action and do something. There's been some controversies about their protest in certain ways, which I think we can all agree with in terms of some things haven't been so great the way they probably protested, but I think the message has been heard loud and clear, which I think in terms of more than just the message, in terms of the branding and the campaign, how it's united people and got people of all ages backing a common cause and taking action right now, I think is levels of involvement and engagement that we haven't seen in a long time for certain brands. I think led by donkeys as well, I think will also add to that mix as well, on that same path.
What is your favourite tech platform or solution at the moment?
Favourite tech platform or solution? So as I'm going through the process of setting up my own business, I'm quite engaged with a number of different tech platforms that can just help collaborate, help use distributed thinking and resources around the world. And I think that actually, there's a lot of talent around which we just don't necessarily have access to, or historically we haven't had access to. But now people are looking to work much more independently, much more flexible terms, and the technology is out there to actually make it really simple to engage with these people. So platforms like Slack I've been quite interested in terms of how easy they are to keep in touch with with people in different time zones and things like that, share work, but also just in terms of, I think there's some things like some of the simple things that are that we know about that we're probably not necessarily using that much, things like Dropbox and things like Google Docs, I think increasingly getting more and more relevant and more and more powerful. So I'm finding a lot of excitement in my world in those things that I think some people probably take for granted.
Dino, thank you for being on Brew with a View.
Cheers, thank you.